This is Tamara from mooglyblog.com, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to make Squish, which is a free crochet pattern found on mooglyblog.com. Now, before we get started, I want to show you what the finished project looks like here. This is made using Lion brand Scarfie. I have a skein of it right here. They come in a variety of colors, and you can see, let me get this turned towards the camera here. There we are. You can see it's going to be a self-striping. We've got sections of different colors, but it kind of has a gradient thing too, where the two colors will mix together. You can see that in action here in the finished cowl. So let me show you how it's made. Like I said, we're using Lion brand Scarfie, which has a ton of yardage, which makes this a 1 skein project, and an MN hook, which is a 9mm. This one's by Clover. So let's begin. Now, I'm not going to make the entire cowl again because that would be a really long video, so I'm going to make a teeny tiny cowl for you today. So this one, I have 20 single crochets. These are going to represent the first round. When you finish the first round stitching, you want to join the ends together without twisting so that you can work in the round. And you do that by slip stitching in the very first stitch. Get the end here. There we are. So sort of a bracelet-sized cowl right now. But now it's time to begin the main stitch of this cowl, which is the split bullion stitch. And this is a stitch I came up with specifically for this project. So we're going to start with a chain 2 for a little bit of height. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch, and it doesn't count as a stitch anywhere in this pattern. Then we're going to start our first split bullion stitch. I'm going to yarn over 6 times, and I want to do this not super tight like I would maybe for a cable or a post stitch or a long stitch. I want to keep these a little bit looser, so just sort of gently wrap around the hook 6 times so that we have 7 loops on the hook then. There we are, 7 loops on the hook. Now I'm going to insert my hook back in the very first stitch there, like so. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop. That gives us 8 loops on the hook. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull through just the first 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I was able to do it pulling straight through very carefully, but if you get stuck and some of them don't want to come off, it's okay to pick those off with your fingers too. Now I still have 5 loops left on the hook here. So I'm going to yarn over once more. I'm going to skip the next stitch, go into the stitch after that. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and at this point now I have 7 loops on the hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 7 loops. See if we can do it all the way through. There we are. And that is our first split bullion stitch. So I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do it again. Let me pull up a little more yarn here. This uses a lot of yarn, but it also creates that really squishy fabric that the cowl is named after. So I'm going to yarn over 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can see I'm just doing it very gently so that they're not tight on the hook at all. Then I'm going to start the second one by inserting my hook in the same stitch that we finished the previous one in. Pull up a loop, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 4, so you can kind of pull those apart from the other 4 if need be to make it a little easier on yourself. Oh, and these 2 don't want to come, so I'll go ahead and pick those off by hand. Oh, and I dropped them. That's alright. The great thing about crochet, you just start it over again. We've got 3 loops wrapped around the hook here. 4, 5, and 6. There we are. I'm going to go into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now let's pull through 4. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. I'm just going to peel it right over there. That's our 4 loops. Then I'm going to yarn over, skip the next stitch, and go into the stitch after that. Pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all the loops remaining on the hook. Then chain 1. And then I'm going to continue just like that all the way around. Let's do it one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to make sure to use a hook with a nice long shaft when you're making any sort of bullion stitch, split or otherwise, because you need to have that to keep the size of your loops the same. You need to have a lot of space on your hook there. So I'm going to go into the same one we finished the previous stitch in, like so. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 4 loops. There we are. Yarn over, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all the loops on the hook. See if we can make it through here without catching any. Oh, we dropped it. Let's do that one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Start in the same stitch. Pull through the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, skip a stitch, go into the one after that, pull up our loop, and pull through all the loops. And chain 1, of course. Looks like we actually accidentally got a chain 2 between these last 2, but you get the idea. You make the split bullion, chain 1, go in the same stitch that you finished the previous one in, skip a stitch, then go in the one after that. And you're going to continue to do that all the way around until you get to the end. And when you make the last split bullion, you'll work the first leg in the second to last stitch of the round, and the second leg in the same stitch as the first leg of the first split bullion. Then chain 1 and slip stitch in the top. So I'm going to go ahead and come around, and I'll meet you here at the end of round 1. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 1, and I've went ahead and saved this last one to show you. So let's do our yarn over 6 times. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go into that first stitch there, the one we finished the previous stitch on. Pull through 4. There we are. Then I'm going to yarn over. And remember, in this one, I'm going to finish off by going into the same stitch that the first part of the first one was made in. So right there. I'm just going to go ahead and work over that chain 2 as if it doesn't exist too. I'm going to ignore it and it'll get sort of hidden away. Oh, that's right. We're at the end of it here, so I pull through all the loops. There we go. All right. Chain 1, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the first bullion. There we are. Oops. I'm getting that stitch a little better there. There we go. Okay. So then, to start round 2, I am going to start with another chain 2. And in this row, I am going to be making the split bullions in those chain 1 spaces. So rather than skipping a solid stitch like this, we're going to skip over the bullion. That will be the skip here. So to start this first one, I'm actually going to go ahead and move on over to this first chain 1 space. So let's make our first split bullion of round 2. That's 5 and 6. I am going to come on over here, make the first half, pull through those first 4 loops. There we are. Yarn over and go to the next chain 1 space to finish it. Like so. And then of course chain 1. And then that's how I will continue to work this one, so that when I come around to the end, I will make the last one with the first leg here and the second leg in this same chain 1 space. So in this way, the seam will actually be diagonal throughout the piece. But that is really all the basics for making the gorgeous Squish cowl. Again, that's made with Lion Brand yarn Scarfy, which is really light and lofty. It has a lot of plush and squishiness to it, so it's perfect for that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, please subscribe to our channel, and thanks so much for watching.